So, looks like we're good. Tune Seattle clearance.
Seattle bearing delivery, November 260 Juliet, Lima, IFR to Tacoma, ready to copy. November 260 Juliet, Lima is cleared to Tacoma, airport is filed. Climb and maintain 2000. Departure frequency is 126.5, squawk 6201, clearance void 30 minutes from now. November 260 Juliet, Lima, cleared to Tacoma, airport as filed. Climb and maintain 2000. Departure is 126.5, squawk 6201, clearance void 30 minutes from now. 0 Juliet, Lima, read back correct.
Alright, so I just set my altitude to 2,000 feet, set my heading bug straight ahead, and I'm going to jump over here, procedure, I don't want to do that, flight plan. I'm going to go ahead and click up on the FMS knob, just one turn to the right, I hit the cursor, bring it down, so I'm just pushing it on the FMS knob, one more click to the right or up with my mouse wheel, and then at this point I want, if I hit enter nothing happens, so I'm going to go over to activate, boom. If I can't find a button, I need to look on the bottom because it changes. And then okay, so that's in there. Okay, good. And oops, I also need to come over here to the Easter egg button, which the Mindstar software, you can activate this in the config file for the Easter egg button. And that's going to let me put the weather at boom. I can also jump around, which we're going to try later, and put aside on the approach so we can skip all the middle of this approach. It can be pretty good for shooting multiple approaches. It's super handy. I wish they had something for it in actual normal FSX. Alright, so that looks good there. We're going to zoom you guys in a little bit here. And we're going to do a quick flow check. So, left, right. So this should be pointing this way, but I can't change it because it'll turn it off. And this one's off to the right way. Fuel pumps are on. And all the ignitions are on. Come all the way down here. Our parking brake is off. It's right behind there. I can't quite see it. And both of our chokes are there. Props are full forward. Car beats going full forward. Once we're out there, we'll go full props or full throttle. I'm going to go ahead and put in takeoff flaps. All my switches are on. These ones don't work, so they should be in the on position, but they actually are. And gear is where I want it to be. All right. So we have to have a failure here. I hit the alert. There's no alert, so this just needs to go away once we start rolling. That looks good. And looks like we are ready to take off. I got all that set, so here we go. I don't have any rudder pedals, so we'll see what happens. Looking for 65. Whoa, I don't know what that was. And green, airspeed's coming alive, rotating, pitching for 84. We've got way too much trim in. Should be about 8 degrees pitch up to hold 84. No more runway. Gears coming up. And at 900 feet, I'm going to go ahead and raise my flaps. Contact approach.
Seattle departure, November 260 Juliet, Lima is at 1,100, climbing 2,000. November 260 Juliet, Lima, Seattle departure, roger, altimeter 2991. 0 Juliet, Lima, turn right heading 345, proceed on course, climb and maintain 2,300. 0 Juliet, Lima, you are 15 miles southeast, turn left heading 335, climb and maintain 2,300, expect vectors ILS, runway 17, approach. Turn left heading 335, climb and maintain 2,300, expect vectors ILS, runway 17, approach, 0 Juliet, Lima.
Alright, so I've got the autopilot on, heading bug, and I'm climbing 500 feet per minute on a course of 335, and he gave me vectors to final, so procedure, select approach, I'll bring this up a little closer, select approach, and ILS 17, vectors, yes, and load, and yes. Alright, so that loaded, not quite in the right thing because I haven't activated it yet. We're still going to FabNew. I don't know why it says FabNew to KTIW. We're actually en route to FabNew from Cottony, but whatever. This line here should be magenta. If I care, I can basically hit the FMS knob. I'm on vector, so I don't really care. Come up here, and then now I could activate that leg. And enter. So now I'm... Oops, that did not work out well at all, did it? And at this point, we can go ahead and jump ahead. I would like to grab my altitude here, though, in a second. So I'm going to come over here at the altitude button for the autopilot. Got 40 feet to go, 20 feet. Now, if I was able, I could hit Alt. I could hit the altitude button and VS, and that would allow me to grab whatever is right here in my settings. I don't have two mouse, so I can't mices. I don't know, but I can't press both buttons to activate that mode. I doubt it actually exists in here anyway. All right, so at this point, we're gonna go ahead and skip forward. So I go ahead and hit here. I hit approach, and I'm gonna go to CF17. So it just jumped me forward all the way to send. I'm gonna let it catch itself here and readjust the screen. Everything looks good. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and hit the pause button.
Lima, turn right heading 260. Juliet Lima, you are 1 miles north, turn right heading 200, climb and maintain 2000, cleared ILS, runway 17, approach, maintain 2000 until established on the local list. Contact Tacoma Tower on 118.5.
Alright, so at this point, acknowledge that. Procedure.
2000, cleared ILS, runway 17, approach, maintain 2000 until established. Tower on 118.50, Juliet Lima.
And we just turned a whole 360 there, which sucks. I wasn't paying attention, so now we're going to bring it all the way back. Come on, we're going the wrong direction. Whichever way you want to go, I don't care. We'll go that way. And we'll go ahead and slow down here just a little bit. 70% is pretty good actually though. So we're looking to be under 122 when we get to Sen. So at this point we go ahead and go through our checklist for before landing. So exit out of that. We don't have one here, but in the plane we do. So left, right. So left, 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 or right, right. Fuel pumps are on. They can come on and off here. I just left them on earlier, but they usually come off at about 1,000, 1,500 feet, somewhere in there once we feel safe. All the ignitions are on. I don't touch those. Coming down to the parking brake, chokes, throttles, props, car beat, gear, and flaps are both up. Alright, lights are on. We're looking good there. And at this point I go to nav mode, except for nav mode doesn't seem to grab approach mode. Not real sure about that. So we got on the other side of it. But now it's going to come over here and grab the actual heading here. I'm far enough out that this is just grabbing vectors to final 10. And I'm going to go ahead and tune in Tacoma Tower.
Tacoma Tower, November 260, Juliet Lima is 13 miles north, inbound ILS, runway 17, approach.
November 260, Juliet Lima, Tacoma Tower, turning straight into runway 17, altimeter 2901.
Lights
Alright, so I've got glide slope coming alive here. I have localizer coming in. It'll grab that because it's on nav. It will not switch automatically to approach for some reason in nav mode. I have no idea why. So once this guy comes in here a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and scroll back over. My approach course is 167. I need to maintain 2000 until established. And missed approach is climbing, I think 1500, then right turn, heading 290, intercept the 227 radial from Seattle, and all that should be my missed approach. So flight plan, runway 17, approach course 67, 1500 feet, intercept 290, send 47, which is 270 or 227 the reciprocal, and then hold and send. Alright, so that all matched up. And I briefed that approach much better as we were flying en route to get up here, but since we come in this way, whatever. And at this point, I'm at 2000, I'm holding. I'm a little fast here, so I'm going to reduce my power just a little bit. I want to be 122. So power comes out, let it slow down a bit. I'm going to throw it in heading mode because I know the nav mode doesn't work in this one. It works fine in the real plane. And I still want to get over there on course a little bit, so I'm going to bring that over. Once I've reduced throttle here a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and put the props full forward. Passenger seatbelts are on for us. Bring that power back in. And we're looking to have their seat in the down rearward position. Alright, so heading bug is on heading, so bring us back over to our heading. Drifted through it a little bit, and I'm looking for approach mode. Which throws me in a nav mode, which is kind of interesting when I hit the approach button. We'll see if it actually grabs it here, but I don't think it will. I think I have to hit heading and approach. In the actual plane, it's just going to automatically select it, and it's not a real big deal. So it's not looking for glide slope, which I would see that right here. Not sure. In the real one, it would say GS right now. It wouldn't say trim out. It would say out GS. And we are active approach. We can see this right here is the horseshoe, so we are on an active approach. So that's not the problem with the autopilot. It's just not grabbing it. Approach heading. Approach.
0 Juliet Lima, cleared to land, runway 17.
Okay, so I just dropped my gear at send. My props are full forward, my flaps are in. So gears down and green, verified. Props are full forward, flaps are in to take off or approach mode. And I'm on glide slope. The autopilot did grab it, so I'm on approach and I have glide slope. So it's going to maintain this for me. I can put in my baro mins. I wouldn't do it this late. I would have already done this for my approach earlier. But basically I just come in here, come all the way down to here, turn this guy on, put this at 500 feet because our minimums is 494, I think. So 500, and then I just have to hit clear. Now it puts baro mins right here, so 500 feet. It'll give me an audible warning. It'll say minimums when I get to them. Checking my airspeed here. I'm a little slow, so let's give it just a tiny bit of power. I'm looking for about 90 here. So I'm 87. I mean, I'm not that slow. Alright, so we got 600 to go. We're cleared for landing. And at this point, we just watch stuff. Sorry, the lights are getting a little dark in here. I can turn on the panel lights, but I don't think they'll help. It is getting to that time of night. Yeah, so all the switches are on. Oh, there's one more. Yeah, it brought on little weird lights maybe. I don't think it did anything. Not that fancy. Alright, so at this point I'm just scanning for these guys here, watching my airspeed. I'm a little slow again. And my altitude 500 feet to go. In order to put in the rest of my flaps, though, I have to be under 93, which is a weird little caveat for this guy. Kind of annoying. So this speed isn't bad. I'm sitting right at it. And 300 to go. Better sit up in my seat a little bit. So I can see. Alright. 200 to go. Gear is down in green. We are good to land. Airspeed's looking good. I'm on glide slope. Everything's looking good. I'm ready to kill the autopilot. Fingers going onto it. 40 feet to go. Looking for the runway. There's my minimums. There's the runway. I'm going to reduce my power. So I back my power out a few here. Pitching down. Looking to hold 84 until I have the runway made. Flaps are coming all the way in. And just holding. Now I can split blue and red. So I'm looking for about 74 here. As it sets down. Ooh, that's a weird angle. That is an awful landing. Sorry. And I think I'm like across something here. Ooh, gosh. Alright, sorry. I'm holding my own yoke here. So that was a failed landing.